My intention for today is that you will leave today with a big ahas, and be able to take those and do steps to move things in your life and your business. You'll have significant mindset shifts during this week, during those 4 days, that put you in a different playing field in your business and in your life, really. And my intention is that, because I know who you all are, I know that you're creating amazing things in the world. So my intention is that you do this and then it ripples out into the world from your business into your life and makes a positive impact on those around you. So think about for a second why you're here. Why did you join this group? Why did you say yes to it? What do you want to get out of it? What is it that you want to get out of this group? Like this, what drew you to this 8 principles of prosperity, this 4-day business boost? What drew you to that? I just want to remind you of your intention, just to tune into that, to be able to receive it. So just take that in, take a breath, and then declare it. Really own that intention. It could be hope, inspiration, motivation, empowering mindset, gaining more prosperity, more connection, support through the community here. So just step into that, put it in the chat if you want. Owning what it is that you really want to receive from this group and this program. Beautiful. Okay. So for those of you who don't know me very well, I'm going to give a little bit of background of where I'm coming from. So my first business started in 2003, and I resisted I was clueless about and resisted the parts of business that I didn't want to look at. For example, money, marketing, sales. That's all. So in my resistance to those, I buried my head in the sand. And after a few years of doing business and learning and growing, but also ignoring the most important parts of the business in a way, I felt bankruptcy. So I hit a bottom of my business and I had to quit my businesses for a while. And then years later, after teaching for a while in Hawaii, I moved to Asheville, which is near where I'm from. I'm from East Tennessee. And I wanted to start a jewelry design business. And I felt called, I felt this vision pulling me to create this. And it was bigger than me. And it wasn't coming from ego like it was before. And before it was also rebellion and stubbornness as well. So I felt called to create this business, and I knew I had to do it differently in order to sustain it and to be able to keep going in it and to make an impact. So I did it differently. I did a lot of work to change my mindset around money. I got a lot of support for my business and for in all kinds of areas. And I did it differently than before. And the mindset shifts were the biggest ones. I was able to embrace seeing business as a creative process. And I was able to just embrace numbers really and have practices around numbers and set intentions with them and all kinds of things. Like I've learned so much about money, and it has been a huge teacher in my life. And eventually I was able to create sustainable businesses and that were growing year after year, and tripled my income in 3 years. And sometimes I tripled my income over months, depending on what was happening. And that's why, this journey of mine of being a creative and being in business and then resisting the parts of business, but still having something really valuable to offer the world, is why I do this work. Because I know that there's a lot of people who have a gap, and you're connected to your heart with your business, and you really want to create and are creating amazing things in the world. And it's like, how do you step into creating it from a place that is also profitable and lucrative and thriving? So that's the bridge that I help create, is between the amazing work that you do and the business part, the business and financial part. So in order to do that fully, I have been doing coaching on and off for 18 years. And again, this kind of niche, helping art creatives for about 5 years, 5 or 6 years. And then at the end of 2020, I let go of my jewelry business. I sold all the assets to do the coaching work full time. So I'm really excited about that. And I could not do it without you and your commitment to being the change as well, to stepping into the things that you want to create in your business and your creativity. And because it's not, entrepreneurship is not for wimps. It's a really, you have to be strong and courageous to step into that. So I acknowledge you for doing that. And my commitment is to create a world where creatives are empowered in money and business, and where there's more beauty, connection, and conscious intention being created in the world. And so let's do that together through this community. So thank you for being here. Okay, so I want to start by redefining prosperity. So prosperity is a state of being. It's not about the numbers. So I hope that already blew your mind. And I'm going to talk more about this. And so the word abundance also is a really common word people use. And I use the word prosperity more because abundance is also excess. It means excess. So I don't always resonate with that word. And I also feel like, the state of being in the state of being is huge, and that you can also, I've seen this a bunch, like people who are rich, and I mean freaking rich. Like I had somebody I knew many years ago who was trying to decide between buying an NBA team and let's see, what was the other? Oh, a jet. That's what it was. So this person was super wealthy financially, and had a state of scarcity that was one of the most intense ones I've ever seen. I feel it in my heart right now as I think about it. And I lived in Honduras for a year, and many years ago, and taught there. And I saw people who had almost nothing, who were in the most, yeah, emotional, the most amazing state of abundance because they're so freaking alive. And and that really impacted me. Both of these experiences has impacted me and how I see prosperity and how I see money. And it's not about the money. We'll go into that more of that later. But yeah, so anyway, there's a lot to cover here, so I'm just going to take it piece by piece. Okay, so the first principle, are you ready for this? The first principle of prosperity is enough. The principle of enough. Okay. So my coaching mentor, Martha Beck, always said, there's always going to be two voices in your head, always. And it's like the lizard brain. So like, there's three parts of our brain, and the bottom part is the oldest part of our brain, like the lizard. So it hasn't evolved as much as the other ones. And she said there'll be two voices that this lizard is saying all the time. One is, here's a lizard, it's a little puppet, there's not enough. And the other one is, you're in danger. And these voices are super freaking loud right now in our world. So knowing that they're always there, she says, feed it a grape and say thank you for sharing, because it's just trying to keep you safe, So this not enough thing is going to always be there. And it can be a huge block. So one of my favorite quotes about prosperity or money ever, and I've read this like probably almost 20 years ago. No, maybe 15 years ago. Is by Lynn Twist. She wrote The Soul of Money. She is an amazing philanthropist doing really amazing, impactful work in the world. She said this: let go of trying to get more of what you don't really need. It frees up oceans of energy to make a difference with what you already have. When you make a difference with what you have, it expands. What you appreciate appreciates. You can't get to prosperity through the portal of more, only enough. This is super counterintuitive. And you may think I'm crazy telling you, as I'm a business coach and I'm telling you, I can help you make more money as a coach. And I'm saying that the key really is saying that you have enough. Because where you start is from here and that sense of I have enough, and that's how you attract more. So, and we'll be working later on this week with money blocks and limiting beliefs and how to switch those around. So I think we'll do that on Friday. So yeah, so that's going to be really powerful. But right now we're just looking at the principles. So, one of the ways we like get away from the enough thing is judging ourselves, saying we should be somewhere that we're not. So this drains our energy and puts us into scarcity. Shooting on yourself is stinky business, and it's a distraction and a form of self-sabotage. So, I mean, almost every creative I know is judging themselves for not doing enough. And, this sabotage. And it's just, it's a cycle that keeps you, like just kind of going in circles, basically. So letting go of that. And this quote, the next thing I'm going to quote is from a poem by Hafiz. It's the beginning of a poem by him. It says, "This place where you are now, God circled on a map for you." So, and even if you don't believe in God or whatever your beliefs are there, let yourself just trust that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment listening to this. And that where you're at is perfect for you because you can go anywhere from here. It's like we're looking at the map of where you are here, and instead of looking at where you should be, quote, or where you could be doing whatever, it's just like looking at where you are now. And this is especially important right now when we're like a year and a half into a pandemic, and that's impacted people in so many ways that we can't even see them all yet. So it's huge, and so having some compassion for yourself and letting yourself be where you are, because this place where you are is perfect or you wouldn't be there. So letting yourself be there and then do something different. So my vision for you around this exact principle is to, this feeling of enough, of trusting where you are, of being present and enjoying what you have. Because really the truth is, no matter how much money you have, if you can't enjoy it, if you can't see it as enough and be present in the moment, it doesn't matter how much you have. Otherwise, you're going to be addicted to more. And you see this with billionaires who don't give generously, who are caught up in the addiction of more. It's never ending, never, ever ending if you let yourself go there. So how can you really be with and enjoy and embrace and take in the things that you are connecting with? So that's the question. Okay, so one strategy here is to stay present with yourself. And as an artist and a creative or holistic practitioner, whatever your thing is, I know that you are the kind of person who sees things in the world and takes them in and expresses how you feel about things in whatever form, whether it's writing or art or healing. I know that's the kind of person you are. So that tuning in and that connecting and that allowing, that's receiving, and that's feeling enough. So again, that quote from Lynn Twist, making a difference. So this is a strategy. And this is something that I've turned to when I've felt like, okay, I don't know what the hell to do. I feel overwhelmed. I feel kind of stuck or whatever. Is I ask this question: how can I make a difference with what I already have from where I am? Like, what do I already have access to? What resources do I already have? So instead of asking questions like, what's wrong with me? Or why isn't this working? Because basically your life reflects the power of questions that you ask yourself. You'll get answers to any of those questions and they won't be helpful necessarily. But this kind of question, how can you make a difference with what you've already got from where you are? This is something you can ask all the time, because even when your business gets to a place, or maybe your business is already there and you know this already, of growth, and you're going to be hiring people or whatever you're doing, You know, one of my mentors says, new level, new devil. You're always going to have things that are challenges, I promise. And so it's like you trusting yourself to manage it, to work with it, to accept it, to have compassion for yourself for where you're at, and to know that you have enough. And this is, I'm going to say, this is also a privileged conversation. So if you don't actually have enough in the moment, you need to get help. So there's all kinds of ways to do that. I don't have to tell you those. But just knowing that I want to acknowledge this is a privileged conversation. And this is for really specifically for people who have a business and want to grow it to the next level. Okay, so from this principle of enough, how can you step into this? It's a perfect place. How is this perfect? What am I learning right now? And that could be internal, external kinds of things. And I think about COVID as an example of this. You know, a lot of people have talked about the challenges, but also the things that they've gained, especially richness internally for, you know, having gone through all of this stuff. So how will it make you more of who you are becoming and make you stronger? Okay. So, all right. So that's the first principle, is principle of enough. Coming from enough, I have enough. And I have to say, like years ago when I was, you know, before I filed bankruptcy, when I was struggling financially in California in my businesses, I had a therapist who would say, do you have enough right now? And I would get so pissed because I was like, I was just so in survival and scarcity and fear that I would just like almost like attack energetically, like, you know, but the truth was I did have enough. I did have enough. I just didn't want to see it because I was saying there was not enough, not enough, not enough, because I was like caught in with that lizard that was just like taking over, you know. So I had to learn how to change my relationship with it. Okay, so you ready for principle number 2? Okay, principle number 2 is the principle of receiving. We've been taught in our culture that receiving is not as good as giving, and that giving is better. And the truth is that you can't, so logically, you can't give unless somebody is receiving. So they're two sides of the same coin. And one of the coolest things is that you can actually give to yourself, to stretch your receiving muscle by giving to yourself. Let's talk more about this. So in general, okay, so again, money, prosperity is not about money. And I'm going to quote something from a book called Money is Not the Problem, You Are. It's by Gary Douglas and Dane Heer. Obviously, I like it because I have a lot of little Post-its here, which is typical for me. So, all right. So, let's see here. I'm paraphrasing this, but it's not about the money. It's about how much you're willing to receive. If you're not willing to receive freedom, and I added presence here, money can't help you. Money is never a solution because it's never the problem. Money can't solve your problem, only you can. So that puts it into your court, into empowering you to step into, you know, lots of things. We'll go into more of this too. So my vision for this principle here is that you'll, you know, be able to receive more fully who you are, embrace it, and value it. So coming from that enough state, I am enough. You can say that to yourself. Receiving fully who you are, trusting you're in the right place at the right time, embracing where you're at, and valuing it. And we're going to go a lot more into value later this week too, in all kinds of angles. Okay, so this is a little bit of a butt kicker right here. So, okay, ready for this? Some people, this is going to be kind of intense maybe. Okay, when you try to hide, this is also from the Money Isn't the Problem. When you try to hide, it means you're not allowing yourself to receive. And I feel this in my body right now. It's impossible to stay hidden and also increase the amount of money you're making. Boom. So if there's a lot of ways to hide. There's like, hiding can be from paying taxes, hiding from paying taxes, and that's the scarcity mindset. Because if you could create more money and create more possibility within your business, you wouldn't be afraid of taxes. You would just pay them, and also learn strategies to reduce taxes and with business structure and things like that eventually. So it could also look like not playing full out in marketing. I had a client one time who said, I love this so much. She said her marketing, she realized after working with me, during working with me, that her marketing strategy had been kind of like parking a used car at the end of a road with the for sale sign, end of a dead end road with a for sale sign on it. Not a lot of takers, you know? So, like, marketing is a way to hide, not stepping into sales is a way to hide, not looking at your numbers is a way to hide, not getting support for your business to grow is a way to hide, not engaging in community and connection with your profession or your community, your colleagues is a way to hide. Yeah, yeah. So really, being open to receiving means being more visible. It's huge. So, and I'm going to ask you to do a couple of action steps here from this. So, okay. So here's a affirmation from Tosha Silver. She wrote an amazing book called It's Not Your Money, which is brilliant. Also, lots of little tabs and post-its there, of course. And this one quote I've adapted a little bit, but it's inspired by one in there. It says, "This is an affirmation you can create and cultivate. Amazingly, everything I need comes to me in time. I am open to receiving beyond what I imagine." So it can also be, miraculously, everything I need comes to me. I am open to receiving beyond what I imagine. You can even ask to be open to receive more and to be generous. So those kind of affirmations are huge, especially if you feel like a scarcity kind of tug on you. Okay. So I have 2 action steps from today that I want to challenge you to, and they could take 5 minutes each or less. So this is not something that will constrain you time-wise. So give yourself something. So receive something from yourself. So this can look like something that's self-care, a bath or a walk in nature, sitting outside, an artist date, going to a really inspiring place to receive inspiration, a long conversation with a friend, some kind of connection or self-care. And it can even be, so those are all things that are like positive. They're things that you want to receive, to give yourself. And it could also be, and this is a tricky one, relief from a stressor. So like if you have something that you've had on your plate to do for a long time and you're not doing it and it's stressing you out, and it's sort of like what one of my clients used to call an ankle biter. It's like kind of like dragging you because it's like gnawing on you a little bit, it's holding you back, do the thing. I had one of these recently where I had a bookkeeping project I needed to do, and I had somebody help me redo all this stuff this year, and I was just dreading going in to make this happen, to finish all this stuff. And I thought it would take me like, a couple of hours, couple of weeks, a few hours over a couple of weeks to do it. And I did it in less than an hour, but I know it was less than 2 hours. It was way easier than I thought it was going to be, way simpler. And I'd already done a lot more than I had thought. And I was like, wow, I spent so much more energy procrastinating and resisting this than I did just doing it. So that's just a reminder to, like, whatever the thing is that is gnawing at you, or something that you've been wanting to give yourself or you need to receive for yourself, that you can just give yourself. So basically the homework for this piece is give yourself something that helps you feel better, that helps you feel relief, that helps you feel like you're stepping into receiving. Because the truth is that, a lot of people, when I ask them, I've asked people this for years, of like, what would you do if you had more money? And it's and sometimes people say travel, or they say things that do require money, but But a lot of times they just talk about their schedule and how they would do different things with their day or their time or spend time with loved ones or, these read more, all these kinds of things. So what is something that would make you feel spacious that you've been waiting to do that you can do and receive for yourself? So that's homework piece one. And please share this in the group. When you do this thing, if you're going to commit to it, please share here, like, what am I going to do? And or how you feel when you do it. This is a community of inspiration and support and non-judgment. And this conversation of talking about money and prosperity is so rare and so important, especially with creatives. So please bring that to the community. It's priceless for us. Thank you. Okay. And the other one is to show up in this group, show up in this Facebook group, and to be visible. So this piece about visibility and being hidden. So if you haven't already posted, a lot of you have posted where you are and what you're up to, like what kind of creative work you're doing in the world. If you haven't already done that, do that. And then also share your work. Share a beautiful piece of like art that you've created or a craft that you've created or an example of a time you made an impact in a client's life. Or, so share something with us that you're proud of, that you're excited about, that you're grateful for, even if it's imperfect, sharing this. And as a community, I'm asking all of us to give support and kudos for what they are sharing, because visibility is not always easy. And, that simple visibility is priceless. So homework pieces are, just a quick review. So the two principles are, for today, principle of enough and the principle of receiving. And the homework is give yourself something, receive something from yourself that feels nourishing in some form, and be visible in the group. Show up for that and support others as well. And then tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern time, again, I'll be here live again, and I'll be sharing principles 3 and 4. So I'm so excited to share those with you. And each group of principles has so much to it. Like I just want to just give you all of it. I know it's like digestible bits. So I can't wait to see you tomorrow. And thanks for interacting here and showing up and listening to this and watching this and showing up for your business and your work. And I'll see you tomorrow.